Guys, we're back with another 11 plus preparation video. Today we're looking at a new strand of verbal reasoning that I like to call word swap. Let's take a look at the instructions together. So it says one of the words within the given sentence can be exchanged with one of the 5 possible answers without the meaning of the sentence being altered. In other words, one of these 5 words here can be swapped for a word in this sentence without changing the meaning. So we can presume this is essentially a synonyms question, words that mean the same thing, but we've got a few options this time. So let's take a look together. How can we solve this? Well, firstly, let's just read the sentence. It was a fair decision to end the game there. So by reading it once or twice, I can really start to absorb the words that are there and then take a look at the 5 options and just go through them. Let's think, can were replace any of these words here? Well, typically it would replace the word was, right? You got was or were. And in this sentence, it would not grammatically make sense to use the word were. And just a quick glance across the rest of the sentence shows me that there's nowhere else that I could use this word as an option, so I can get rid of it. Let's keep going through. What about the word unwise? It was a fair decision to end the game there. I think unwise is one of those typical traps because it means the opposite of this word fair. So if fair was the answer, we're looking for something that means that. Unwise would be a good opposite. It's a bit of a trap. It's not the answer. Let's move on to C, resigned. It was a fair decision to end the game there. This is a great word because ending something and resigning, they are really linked. But can I use the word resigned in this sentence, maybe in place of the word end? Let's try. It was a fair decision to resigned the game there. It doesn't make sense grammatically, so we're going to get rid of it. We've got 2 options left. Now, D is a good example of just using some tricky words. You might not know what commence means. Well, commence means to begin something. So again, we're using this idea of opposites. We have the opposite of fair being unwise. We've got the opposite of end, meaning begin, which is what commence is. So commence also isn't going to work. We're left with one answer. Let's just hope this is correct. At this point, it should be reasonable. It was a fair decision to end the game there. Reasonable means fair, so let's try and test it in its place. It was a reasonable decision to end the game there. Now that one works much better than any of the other options, and it's because it is our answer. Let's move on to another example. So this time, I'm going to read the sentence and then you're going to pause the video and have an actual go at solving this one yourself. What do you think the answer might be? So the sentence says, she hesitated before uttering another word. Okay, so the reason this question is really good is because of A. This is such a good trap. When you hesitate, you're pausing, aren't you? Hesitate does not mean stop. Even though the act of stopping is kind of involved in pausing, that's kind of what pausing means, right? Stopping temporarily. I can't just replace the word hesitated with the word stopped because they are different. Hesitated intrinsically means pausing for a moment. It means you are going to carry on. So A, stopped, is a really good trap answer, but it's not the answer. Let's keep going through. Speaking. Okay, I know that uttering means something to do with speaking, so let's see if that works. She hesitated before speaking another word. Now that makes sense. So B is my answer, but for good measure, let's go through the other options and see why they're good traps. After. She hesitated before uttering another word. After uttering another word, it's playing on the idea of before. It's pretty obviously wrong. More. I guess the word more feels natural in this sentence because it's about doing more of something. You're about uttering more words. More word, another word doesn't make sense, doesn't it? You wouldn't say she hesitated before uttering more word. You'd have to have the word words there. I've said word too many times now, guys. So good trap, it doesn't work. And the last one's talk. Again, it links to this idea of uttering, doesn't it? And speaking. But again, it's got to grammatically make sense. She hesitated before talk another word. Doesn't really make sense. You've got to be really careful to check the context every single time. I feel like we're getting the hang of this. So here's another one for you. Again, I'll read it for you and you can pause and have a go. Second chances can sometimes seem hard to come by. Let's take a look at the answer, shall we? So we've got A, have. Where might have go? Second chances can sometimes seem hard to come by. I don't think have can go anywhere. I think that's a very obviously wrong answer. What about at? I guess we've got this word by at the end. Can at replace it? Second chances can sometimes seem hard to come at. No, to come at something is very different for something coming by you. So it doesn't quite work. Let's try always. Second chances can sometimes seem hard to come by. Can always seem hard to come by. I don't think always means sometimes. They're very much different words, so it doesn't make any sense. Even though it would work in the sentence, it alters the meaning, which is why it's a good trap. Let's try more. Second chances can seem hard to come by. Can more hard, can seem more to, it doesn't make sense. More could maybe be placed in the sentence, but I can't replace a word with it, so it doesn't make sense. Let's try E, appear. Hopefully this is the answer. Second chances can sometimes seem hard to come by. Okay, look. Seem and appear can be changed in this sentence without altering the meaning, because I would say second chances can sometimes appear hard to come by. To appear or to seem is very much the same word. So these words are synonyms, and it does work in the context of the sentence, so it's the answer. And there we have it. We're getting really good at these. Now, parents, you've got to listen up, because if you are watching this video with your children thinking, yes, this is the teaching style for me, then you should absolutely check out our website. You can scan this QR code right here, or if you're on your phone, you can just click the link in the description. It will take you straight to our massive library of premium lesson videos for verbal reasoning, non-verbal, maths, and English for year 4 and year 5, full 11 plus preparation. You can get started by creating a free account, and a few of the lessons are just available there for you. And if you really like it, you can subscribe to the whole package. And when you make an account, you'll even get an email with a cheeky 10% code off. So do keep an eye out for that. Let's carry on with the video. So here's another one. I think we're getting this now. So I'm not even going to read it to you now. I'm going to let you pause the video. I'd like you to think about what you think the answer is. After hours of practice, Molly finally felt calm before her piano exam. Okay, looking at these answers here, we've got a lot of words to do with feelings, right? So it's already making me think about the word calm, because we've got nervous, tired, relaxed, confident. They're all feelings. And then we've got the word almost at the end. So I'm kind of going to start with this one, because I feel like if it's not one of the 4 feelings, it will be this one. So let's just start here. After hours of practice, Molly almost felt calm. Or finally felt calm. Almost means she doesn't feel calm yet, whereas finally means she does. So I don't think almost works here. So it's definitely one of these feelings. Which one do we feel best reflects the word calm? Well, nervous and tired are both sort of negative emotions, whereas calm is a bit more positive, relaxed and confident. So it's definitely not these two. And out of relaxed and confident, I think confident is a bit too far. Feeling calm doesn't mean confident. You can still feel a bit nervous, but you're calm about it. Whereas confidence is like a step up from that. So I think relaxed is the best possible option here. And let's try it in a sentence. After hours of practice, Molly finally felt relaxed before her piano exam. That makes sense. I've got one more question for you, and then you're going to be given a final one to have a go at and leave a comment with your answer. So let's look at this last one together. Again, pause the video, have a go first. Can you do this one in under 30 seconds? Much like the scientist, I'm sure you are working very quickly there to have a go at this one. So let's read it. It says, the scientist worked quickly to finish the experiment. Okay, awesome. So looking at these answers, performed, rush, done, laboratory, orderly. These are all really good words, right? I look straight to rush, and I think working quickly means rush. I see scientist, and I think laboratory, and I think, oh yeah, that scientists work in labs. Maybe that's it. I see he's working quickly to finish the experiment. I think of the word done, when you've done something. So there's clearly lots of good answers here, and there's clearly traps because they can't all be the answer. So let's have a look. Let's start with laboratory. Now, laboratory is the most easy one to get rid of, I think, because even though it's linked to the word scientist, there's just nothing in this sentence to do with a laboratory. We don't even know if he's working in the laboratory or she. They could be working anywhere. So we get rid of that one. Done, let's try that one, because this is a good trap as well. The scientist worked quickly to finish the experiment. Can I replace any one of these words with done, though? That's the thing. Well, I can't, can I? I can't replace finish with done. The scientist worked quickly to done the experiment. It's a good idea, but it doesn't work. And same with rush. Look, working quickly, it gives you the sense of rushing, right? But I can't actually replace one word with rush and leave it grammatically correct. Look, the scientist rushed quickly to finish the experiment. If it was rushed with an ED on the end, maybe, but it's not. The scientist worked rush to finish it. It doesn't make any sense, so we're going to get rid of it. So we're already down to 2. I'm going to reveal now that the answer is in fact A. Now, this is a really good example. It can be replaced. It can replace worked and still make complete sense here. The scientist performed quickly to finish the experiment. Sometimes in adult life, we use the word perform and work quite interchangeably. I would call these near synonyms, even though they are technically synonyms if you were to Google it. They're more like near synonyms to me because they're not very obvious. The idea of work and the idea of performing are quite far apart in my mind. But in this sentence, we can use performed in the place of worked to make complete sense. And orderly, great word, but it doesn't really make sense here. We could maybe replace quickly with orderly, but it doesn't really have the same sense. Orderly just means kind of organized, whereas quickly is about being fast. You might not be very orderly if you're being quick. Not quite the same. And then we have it, guys. So this is our new verbal reasoning question type. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Obviously, as always, I've got one for you guys, and a little bit of a corny sentence here. The tutor asked the participants to leave a comment. As if I'd ever do that, but please leave a comment and like and subscribe. I would never do such a thing because you'll just do it naturally. Please just leave a comment and like and subscribe and, you know, do all the good things and share it with everybody you know. But yeah, anyway, I'll check out the comments, see if you guys got it right. See you next time.